I mean, we are in depth with an audience, but also this scene, these bands are made by people, and they're part of the scene. And a lot of times, bands and audience just melt together, and it's so beautiful to see this happen.
The Ghost Cult Magazine podcast welcomes in the great Gabriele Fiori of Heavy Psych Sounds Records, the band Black Rainbows, and Heavy Psych Sounds Festivals. How are you doing, Gabriele?
All good.
First and foremost, great to talk to you. I have been a fan of the label pretty much the entire existence, and I'm so excited that you continue to just, considering how hard it is in this day and age to just run a business of any stripe in the music industry. I'm just so proud of you and so happy that you've put out a lot of bands that I love, and I'm so excited about the growth of the festivals.
Well, thank you, because there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and I mean, we do this a lot for the passion we have. I have first, but also all the crew working on the project. I mean, like 5 years ago, I was alone, stickering the records, barcodes, doing, I mean, looking for distributors. And slowly but truly, I mean, I start getting help and a little bit of more funds, and picking the right bands. And that's helped to raise up a very good crew of very good people and working with incredible bands.
No doubt, to create something like this scope of business, you have to have partners you can trust and relationships you built over a long time. And like I said, I believe the label is 15 years old this year, and you've been in bands longer than that. So, just a lot of props to you on all your success. And I've been, Ghost Cult, I've been a music journalist longer than Ghost Cult has been around. But basically, Ghost Cult was created around like a little over 10 years ago to kind of cover Desert Fest and Roadburn and certain festivals that are no longer around. But I feel like the ability Heavy Psych Sounds has proven with their festivals that you've created, that there is a lot of room for other festivals to sort of come in the footsteps, and they're all a little bit different. Obviously there's a lot of stoner rock and doom metal associated with all these festivals, and Roadburn kind of went in a more avant-garde music direction and a little more extreme in black metal. But I think it's really cool that it just shows the depth of the fan base of all this music.
Oh yeah, let me spend a couple of words about the fan base and the scene. I think, I mean, if we are our success, let's say that of course I mean, we are in depth with an audience, but also this this scene, these bands are made by people who were in the scene, and I mean, they're part of the scene. And a lot of times, bands and audience just melt together, and it's so beautiful to see this happen. And I believe the early years for stoner rock, doom, have been tough. I mean, from early 90s to early 2000, even if until, I believe, until the vinyl came back in 2011, 2012, something like that. I mean, the things started getting better and better. And I mean, us as a label, we're living a golden age of really of the best moment that the scene can never offer, with new bands, new incredible bands, and all the older bands still playing, still doing what they were doing like 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And this makes me proud to work on this and have so many connections with all these people. So I really try to be humble as much as I can, and be helpful with everybody involved with here. So all the press, all the guys. I mean, we're kind of a big family. So that's very good in this world for sure.
Nice. I would say that one of the things that I admire about the label, we'll just talk for one more minute about the label before I ask some questions about the festivals, is I feel like as much as you have been fortunate to put out some incredible albums by these legendary bands, you have had a real instrumental hand in helping to discover new bands. So the genre continues to evolve and grow because you have helped launch a lot of new bands. And, I feel like, if you were just only putting out reissues, which you do a great job of the vinyl reissues and represses, that would be fine. And I think there's an audience just for that that's hungry for the reissues. But I think it's great when I hear like a brand new song by High Reaper, which is one of my favorite bands on the label, and the new song they just put out is amazing, and it makes me really excited for whatever they do next and what the label brings next.
Yeah, for sure. This is at least this is the what the festival does as well. Is make together like bigger names, older names with the new discovers. And yes, I'm proud of about yes. I believe yes. If I have a little bit of talent, is to pick good bands, right bands. I have the same background of everybody else with Black Sabbath and Caius and all the 70s stuff and the 60s stuff. I mean, this not only reflect my personal music taste. I try to understand what the audience can be into. So it's not only my personal taste, and a lot of times my personal taste it's the bands that selling the less and maybe the less known bands from the label, and so I cannot just adapt the label to my personal way of thinking. So it's more into let's see this band. What can I mean? If they are good, they're solid, even if they are not my favorites. And I try to understand the taste of the audience.
Amazing. I think there's a misconception because I think you were doing I think there was a while Black Rainbows didn't necessarily have an early release on the label. I think that came later. And you put out and some of your bands have put out records on different labels too, and I think that's cool because it definitely helps the scene grow. And I think there's like all fans of genres, if you like death metal, there's a handful of labels that put out the best death metal records, and you buy a little something from all of them as a fan. I was like that as a fan before I was a journalist. I also played in bands, so I know a lot of people launch labels just to put their band out, but you've done so much more than that. And of course we love your band also, but it's really terrific that you've been able to kind of build this thing over 15 years.
Yeah, I can't believe as well because sometimes I don't see things from outside because I'm like 12 hours a day into my computer and focus. But sometimes I mean, wake up and see, oh, okay, look at this lineup for the California festivals, and it's great. Or see this band is really playing. I mean, Bram Bjork, my hero when I was teenager, is on the label, and I'm working with him. Or I don't know, Ruben Romano from Nebula, my favorite drummer, or many other bands. I was like, wow. So yes, I mean it's been yeah a long time, which you don't realize. And yes, my band actually yeah the label started because the label which Black Rainbows was on, my band was on. I mean, there were a lack of. I mean, another time was like 2000, 2006, 2007, and they were not taking care so much about the press and the distribution. So I started digging and digging and started to make experimentation myself with distribution. And so I tried with my band, and fortunately we were touring a lot. So I've been lucky to get albums from Karma to Burn, from Nam, from other solid bands that really we started with the right foot. And we've been lucky, but as I said, I mean, also the scene where we're growing was growing. So it's been really a good moment to start all this.
Of course. So we're so lucky in California to get two versions basically of the same festival, Joshua Tree and San Francisco, where I'm based out of. But Ghost Cult is, of course, a worldwide organization. As I mentioned, we started in the Netherlands, like I mentioned. I just feel very fortunate that we have these two festivals here. We're doubly blessed. We're going to be, I think, at both festivals, Joshua Tree, and I will be in San Francisco. So very excited about that. And a tremendous lineup here in America. We'll talk about the other festivals in the world in a second, but it's so cool to get Windhand and Hippie Death Cult and Geezer, which I think they're very underrated. And of course, everybody knows Weed Eater and Nebula and Mondo Generator and Duel and Atomic Bitchwax, but there's a lot of underrated bands, like you said, the same thing with the festival, the earlier bands, Cosmic Reaper and Witch Pit. I don't think Cadabra, I don't think a lot of people, they have a cult following, but I think this festival is going to help those bands grow their profile too.
Yeah, that's the purpose. That's what we want to do. Just bring these bands to attention of most people possible. And I know on myself that it's a really tough road. I mean, with Black Rainbows, I mean, we have a little bit of audience, but it's 15 years working on the project album. I mean, it's almost the 9th album. We're going to release the 9th album. We toured a lot, so I mean, we try to give something back to these bands. And today, let me say, today it's easier than ever to go out there and tour and release an album. So I mean, why not? Let's do it, and let's help these bands to raise up the profile.
Nice. And then with all the festivals, how long do you start planning in advance? Are you already planning the next one before this one happens, or you can't? Is it hard to focus on 2024 before you finish 23?
Okay, let me say first that it's a really tough job organized festivals, and we do festivals. It's not our main focus. Okay, our main focus is to release albums first thing, and I can let you imagine when you do like 50, 60 releases per year, huge work. Then we have all the booking process, especially in Europe. We're doing now something like, I don't know, 15 to 20 tours per year, which is another big thing. And I love so much to do these festivals that, I mean, initially there's a lot of excitement, and then you start facing so many issues and problems, logistical problems, which you need to solve. I mean, to build these festivals in California, especially, and it's still. I mean, in San Francisco, there's bad weather now, right? And it's like 2-3 weeks going really bad in California, right?
Nothing but rain. I'm sure the desert will be fine. And we have like periods of time where it rains heavily and then it stops for the rest of the day. So I think in a couple of weeks for San Francisco it'll clear up. And for the desert will probably be far enough inland that they won't get the storms.
I mean, on top of all the logistic problems, then you have the weather and stuff. So, yeah, you need and for example, for California, I mean, last year was Los Angeles, but as everybody knows, LA is a tough city. So we've got Mario Lally from Fatso Jetson, and I mean, the Desert Legend. We're friends, so he started to work on the Desert Edition, and so it really depends on the local promoters if they are proactive, and myself trying to booking the best lineup possible and bring the best lineup to these guys, and we work together, of course. But I mean, in this moment, we announced it like the U.S. West Coast, the Italian edition, the Switzerland edition. Now we are going to organize Berlin and Dresden, which is the 4th year, and New York and Baltimore. We are going to announce really soon. So there's, I mean, each city has its own logistical issues. So not really easy to organize it, but so happy at the end of the story. Probably we're going to lose money, and that's not the point. The main thing is to organize a nice event. That's the main thing.
Thank you for sharing that. I'll make sure with your publicist it's okay, we can talk about it. But that's very exciting. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm from New York originally, and Baltimore is a great city. They they've had Maryland Death Fest for a long time and other festivals too. So that's really cool. I obviously, obviously the two cities for Italy are your backyard, so that's easy. Switzerland is a really inspired choice. First of all, beautiful country, and I love the lineup there. Also, I'm a humongous fan of Truck Fighters. So what a fantastic band! They could headline any of these festivals. They're so great. I love Dango and the whole band.
Yeah, and thanks God we have so many good bands and solid bands in the roster. That's also not only. I mean, they're also the reason to this festivals to go on, but also they I mean they bring their own. I mean their name in the festival as well. Even if they're not so known, but I mean the whole roster is the reason to make this festival. I mean it's happening because everybody's involved. Is what I want to say.
Of course. And then just out of curiosity, I feel like it's a positive thing that the festival moves from city to city over a course of years. If there's a city you didn't return to, is it just that you wanted to have a festival in a different city, or were there any occasions where wasn't I after the fact it didn't work out as well?
No, the thing is that I was almost going not to pray, but wishing that things were going wrong, so I could say, okay, HPS Fest are not working out, so let's. I mean, this is another thing I can skip because it's a huge work. But I mean, the feedback has been so good that I mean, there's so far. I mean, we are adding, we are keep doing the additions in the same cities, and we are just adding more and more festivals. I mean, we are not looking to go bigger. That's not the purpose. This is not. I mean, this is not our main goal to 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 make a big festival. I mean, the range of 500, 800 people, um, participants. That's the aim of the festival, with like 15 to 20 bands in 2 days, with two cities switching on. And it's not easy to find two different cities not far away one from the other, and because I mean many bands are coming. If they're coming for just one show, maybe they say now not coming. But if you offer a weekend, two shows, two different cities, so two fees and two opportunities to play two good shows, everybody is much eager to play. From headliners, but also like smaller bands. So you need to find two cities, one close to the other, and you need to find the right club. And possibly, I love to do it with two stages. So you need to find the right club with possibly two stages, and need to be into the same into the two cities, the same way of same kind of club. And and of course you need to have a city which is proactive. I mean, that need to have a little bit of audience.
Right. We definitely have a huge scene here, and you could not have picked two. We're so lucky to have an abundance of good venues here, but these two small, really intimate, great venues. The park side is going to have the outdoor stage, but the inside is really intimate and cool. There's always metal shows going on there. And bottom of the hill, I'm there at least twice a month, so it's awesome.
Oh, okay.
They're about a block and a half away from each other if anybody's thinking about going. And I live about 10 blocks away from both of them, so I feel very lucky that I can roll out of my house
Yeah.
at lunchtime
Yeah.
on the weekend and go see the show. So that's great. And Joshua Tree, like you mentioned, it's definitely it's drivable at the very least. A lot of bands go from LA to San Francisco at a weekend usually. And like I said, I think the weather will fix itself by then. At least it won't be snow. That happened recently where a band couldn't make it up to San Francisco from LA because of snow. That has never happened ever before. So very rarely. And so yeah, just really just so cool that these festivals are happening, and we're really excited to hear about the other announcements later in the year. Just the last few things for you. Very excited about things going on with the label. As I mentioned, High Reaper. Are there any other new records coming out that you're personally excited about that you can share?
Yes, in few days, we're going to announce Black Rainbow's new album after 3 years. It's been a long work. Bongzilla new album. So proud the guys keep continuing to work with us. And we're going to release Yoni Man new album as well. And let me give you this this anticipation. We're going to release the full discography of Thousand Modes, the Greek band, just for the U.S. Market.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. I'm so excited to hear that. All those sound great to me. Congratulations on the new Black Rainbows album. On top, you had to make a new album on top of everything else you do. Incredible.
Yeah.
And
long. I mean, this album has been really took so long. I mean, we recorded almost a year ago and took so long to, crafted all the stuff. It's been tough job, but it's a very good album, by the way. I mean, I like it myself. And it's not. I do not like so much the stuff I do, but this time it's a nice album.
Well, you're very humble and kind about your own work, because Black Rainbows is awesome. We've covered the band obviously for many years, and I think the Bongzilla news is going to be super energizing because their fan base is crazy and they buy everything. As far as I can see, that's going to be nuts. I can't wait for that to hear that. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us and chatting about the label and your career and the festival. And hopefully I will run into you one of these days at one of these festivals and we can have a beer together.
Please, yes. Man, I regret a little bit. I mean, I supposed to come over the desert in San Francisco. But I mean, with family, kids and stuff and all this wasn't possible. But I really would like it to come this time. By the way, next time for sure we will share more than one beer. And let me say thank you. I mean, really. I mean, all this would have never been possible if all the pieces all together and you and the world press will not doing this. So thanks from our side as well.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Gabriele. Great chatting with you. Enjoy dinner and be safe out there. And we'll report back after the festivals and keep in touch about all the new albums. Thank you so much for everything. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging with Ghost Cult.
Thanks a lot. Ciao, buddy.